What up, what up, what up, internet? Who you are, where you be, where you at, what you see. This is Pop Cult Parent, and boy, it feels good to be back. Your favorite podcast, the podcast where we talk about everything pirates all the time. Your favorite pirate podcast.
God. No.
I like to
Stop it.
I like to introduce myself. Yo, it's been a minute, fam. It's good to see y'all. Good to hear from you. It's your boy, Uncle Mark M.F. Jones, and I'm glad to be back. I've been on a little hiatus because I just had my third kid. So I was on a little parental leave. You know, my son was born. It was a beautiful day. My wife's doing great. Brothers, sisters doing good, but it's good to be back. And I am joined by...
This is Niels R.Y., a.k.a. I love you, son, even if you are a fool. Mark, we happy to have you back, man.
It is good to be back.
And we can talk more about the episode in particular, but Shannon's not with us because of the specific category, the specific topic we're going to be talking about. Mark, I'll let you take get started, brother.
Hold on. First, I got to find the lyrics to the Queen song Champions because I am the champion, my friend, and I will keep fighting until the end because I'm taking the credit. I single-handedly, I have made Nels a One Piece fan. Soak it in, everybody. Not an onlooker, not just checking it out. Your boy Nels RY is a One Piece fan. If you don't believe me, you can hear it from the horse's mouth.
So what had happened was Mark made a bet a while ago saying, hey, and okay, so we have an episode that kind of shares all the background on One Piece in general. But for those of you who ain't listened to the episode, who just like, nah, tell me here, tell me now, I'll just give you a quick rundown of what happened. 1, I've been a hater of One Piece for 20 years.
20 years.
20 years. 2, Mark has been a fan, and throughout our friendship, Mark has he has never gave up, consistently trying to get us to watch One Piece, me and and our mutual friend. And we have turned him down consistently for over 20 years. We've even watched episodes. He has sat us down and watched episodes, and we've been like, this is trash. And he was like, no, you got to watch more. And we'd be like, that's trash. If we have to watch multiple episodes, it's a trash show. No. For only 20 years.
Only Steve Urkel has more longevity.
True. True. So then Mark gives a bet, and he's like, hey, watch the first 45 episodes of One Piece. If you don't like it, I'll never ask you to watch One Piece again.
My last ditch effort.
It was a Hail Mary. And I was confident that I could watch the first 45 episodes and that I was not going to, well, at least not be a fan. I was like, worst case scenario, I like it. It's okay. And I can't hate on it anymore. But I ain't never think I was going to go past it. Context, folks, because we're about to talk about One Piece. I'm currently on episode 600 something, right? I am watching One Piece. All right,
he's in there.
I am in there, and I'll go even more in depth. I have read some of the manga of One Piece, right? I am in there. So, folks, just so you know, because we're gonna jump and talk about One Piece, I'm currently at the Fishman Island arc. Mark, you're at Dressrosa, right?
Yeah, I'm about to finish up Dressrosa. So for the sake of this podcast, I won't talk about anything past Fishman Island.
That's where we are. If you are if you're in a world of One Piece and you're currently figuring out where you are and you don't want to be spoiled, where we are now. So feel free to come back. And for those of you who are very aware of the world of One Piece, then welcome. I am still very much so a beginner compared to some of y'all veterans, but welcome. That's what we're going to talk about. So spoiler beware. That's where we are in One Piece, and that's we're going to talk about all the stuff that's happened around that time there.
Nels, can I just say, so when we went on this journey, yes, and you got to episode 45, I think you were just kind of you're like, yeah, I think I might watch a little bit more, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, yeah, Alabasta, get it, Alabasta. And you're like, okay, Mark, I don't know. And I was like, all right, Nels, you got this far. But I just want to say, man, like this has been some of the most fun I've had like in fandom like in a long time. In
Terrible.
a long time, man. I just like, yo, you like pop culture. I don't think you understand. This man is in there. He's on Reddit forums. He is
Yes.
watching theory videos. He's
Yes.
texting me about theories
Yes.
and coming up with his own theories. Like the man
Yes.
who I could not get to watch One Piece for 20 years is talking fan theories with me. And I remember you were like, "Yo, Mark, I bet you're feeling really good." Like you, like I think you asked me, do I don't know, do I want to laugh at you? I forgot what you would have said. I was like, no. I was like, Nels, my best friend loves One Piece. This is the greatest day of my life. And I just had my firstborn son.
Those are your exact words. Those are your exact words. Yes. I got it. But you know what, Mark? I got to get up to you. And one of the things we'll talk about today is like, how do you sell One Piece? But I got to get up to you. You did not give up. You did not give up. And you know what? I probably should have realized this. You have batted 1,000 with suggesting stuff and knowing that I would like it. I don't know why this was the white whale. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I mean, I know part of it is because of the episode count. I was just like, no, I cannot fall in love with this thing. This is going to take too much of my time, too much of my energy, and too much of my effort. And you know what? I was right. I was right.
You were right.
Since I've started watching One Piece, I don't watch any other show. I don't read anything else. It is just One Piece. If you are wondering, well, like, have I been watching any of the new episodes of anything else? No. Have I watched The Flash? No. Have I caught up with Mandalorian? No. Have I seen anything? No. But do I know what's going on in the world of One Piece? Yeah, damn right I do. I can tell you everything about what's going on in Marineford. I can tell you Alabasta forward, backwards, sideways. I can tell you the dopeness of Drum Island. I can do all that for you. But can I tell you what's happening in the news today? Absolutely not. Can't tell you jack. And this is what I was afraid of. This is exactly what I was afraid of. It's your fault, man.
Oh man, you know, I can attest that like my queue has been growing. Like there's been shows, like popular shows that the season's finales have ended, like Succession, season series finale. I haven't even touched that show. Barry, done. Barry is done. Haven't touched it. Like One Piece is just, I'm on a One Piece roll, dog.
Dog, Ted Lasso, I think just wrapped up. Tell me if I've seen one episode in season 3. Tell me I didn't even know Ted Lasso was ending. That's where I am. One of the greatest shows ever, and I didn't even know it was ending.
It's dangerous, man. It can suck you in. And like I've said this to you before, Nels. Journey you experience where it's like you almost hate yourself for becoming a One Piece fan. I told you, I was like, this is normal. It's like you were going through a trip and I was talking you through it. I'm like, this is normal. This is a normal feeling. You can get through this. Push through it. Push through it.
Yeah, it still sucks. It still sucks knowing that I'm a fan of something that I've been fighting against for so many years, 2 decades. So, you know, it is what it is. So, Mark, I've gone through a journey. You have guided me. Thank goodness you have guided me through this journey. I could not have done this alone. And instead of depending on some strangers, I could depend on my best friend who just had a kid. I've been very selfish with your time.
Hey,
haven't
man.
asked about my nephew at all, but I've asked about Luffy and his brother. So I gotta say thank you. And I think for our conversation today, some of the things that we could talk about in general, like what turned you into a One Piece fan? What turned me into a One Piece fan? Some of our favorite parts of One Piece up to this part. Hot takes and theories. And then like, I think we should just do it. Like, we don't have to like go and say what our top 5 animes of all time are, but we should just talk about where would we put One Piece in the world of anime and manga and all that stuff. So yeah, I think it'll be a fun conversation. I think the pop cult will really enjoy it. Those who actually have gone past the intro, have gone past looking at the title and be like, all right, let's see what's going on
with these pirates. Let's do it. I assume if people are still listening, they know what One Piece is. But One Piece is an anime about pirates, a group of pirates. The main character, Monkey D. Luffy. He wants to be the king of pirates and find the One Piece. What's the One Piece? No one knows. It's been 20 years.
No one knows.
No one knows what the One Piece is. And that is pretty much, I'm paraphrasing, but that's like what the anime is about. So for anyone who doesn't know what One Piece is about, if that sounds appealing to you, it's because it is. Go watch it.
No, that should not sound appealing to you. That should absolutely not sound appealing to you. I wish the show was just that, Mark. I would have stopped. I wish it was just this random kid just like on his ship trying to become king of the pirates. It is so much more than that. There is espionage. There is culture breakdown. There is classism. There is racism, terrorism. There is like dope anime fights. There is so much in this show. I wish it was simple. I wish it was just a skinny kid trying to become a pirate. Nah, it is everything. It is everything. All rolled up in one show.
That is like the trick. People think it's this little goofy, stupid pirate kid show, but it is so much deeper. So much deeper.
If it wasn't for the goofiness, it would be on AMC. If it wasn't for the goofiness, it'd be properly positioned in AMC. A question that we've kind of like tossed around is like, when did I become a One Piece fan? Mark, did you want to jump in and kind of share with you? Because we have two different answers, like when I became a fan versus when you became a fan.
Take you back 20 years. I discovered One Piece when it was still on that 4Kids animation dub, when it was still coming on Saturday mornings in the US. I watched it. I don't think I got it from the first episode, but I got pretty close to the first episode and I was sticking with it. And it was one of those things where, and you could attest to this, Nels, back in those early days of like horrible dubs and horrible censorship, I could tell there was like something going on underneath the edits, underneath the censorship. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like,
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I feel like this is like kind of a dope show, but because of like the dumb dub music and the bad voice acting, it looks stupid. But I was like, I bet if I watched this in its original format, it'd be going pretty hard. And I was right, but like that's the feeling I got. So I started, really, I want to say, getting interested when Luffy fought, I forget his name, the dude who is on Usopp's island, the captain, the cat captain.
Clawdor.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I love how you know the names and I don't.
God, terrible.
So that's when I started really like, I was like, yo, there's something here. There's something to this show. I was like, even for something on 4Kids, these fights are going pretty hard. And then when we got to Baratie, that's when I was like, yo, I'm very, very interested. I was like, this is when Luffy's fighting
Don Krieg.
Don Krieg, and I could, you could tell like he's like for the edit, he's like these poisonous suction cups, right? He's like, I stabbed you with my poisonous suction cups. I'm like, yo, that is an American edit. This man got stabbed. He got straight up stabbed. So like I was kind of watching through the censorship. And then Nels, we got to Arlong Park, and that's when I became a fan. I was like, yo, this is my show, and I am a fan. And it wasn't even, what's crazy? It wasn't even like the Luffy help. Once I saw that in the Funimation dub, that really hit me hard. But it was like the actual like Arlong Park, Arlong as a villain, the fight at Arlong Park, just like Luffy's fighting style, being kind of like a stretchy person and kicking ass. Like that's when I became a fan.
I hear you. That he kind of does remind me of Earthworm Jim. Now that you said that, it's like some of the stretching. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I hear you. So, Mark, my answer is different, and it has been a journey. I think Arlong Park was when I realized, okay, this is a good show, damn near a great show. So I was like, just like me explaining One Piece and talking about One Piece, like I couldn't be a hater anymore. That's what Arlong Park did, but it did not make me a fan. I was just like, this is good. I've been wrong for the past 20 years. Yeah. That's what it did. But I was like, there is no way I'm gonna admit that I like this show enough to be a fan of it. And then they enter the Grand Line, Mark, and I see a giant whale called Laboon. Mark, that's
That's
not so. This
amazing.
didn't make
That
me a
is
fan.
amazing.
That didn't make me a fan. But I was. That's what when I was like, I'm gonna keep watching this show.
That blows my mind, dog.
Laboon.
Laboon got you.
Laboon got me because I was like, this man has been waiting 50 years for his crew. He's so upset with Reverse Mountain that he is hitting his head multiple times. And this doctor who was on the ship of Gold D. Rogers, he said it. And then and there, he's like, oh yeah, I knew the King of the Pirates. I was riding with him for a bit. Like, what?
What?
And I was like, hold on. This whale and that guy is just we're gonna talk about it for like 2 episodes and we're gonna keep it moving. I'm like, no, I needed answers. What happened to his crew? When does Luffy go back to say, Laboon, we're good, you're gonna ride with me, we're gonna be best friends forever? I was Mark my entire for like a week because I was texting you. I was like, what's going on with Laboon?
Tell me about Laboon.
Tell me about Laboon. I want to know everything. Oh my goodness.
And the thing, man, what really, when you said that to me, because we go back to Laboon and his friends and his crew, but like 400 episodes after the introduction of the Blue. So I was like, oh man, if Nels sticks with this show, he's gonna have an amazing experience. But man, he's got a journey to make to get to that destination.
And I give you props, Mark, and we can talk more about this, but I'll give you props. You never ruined it. And you didn't even give me a hint. You didn't even give me a number like, yo, the answer to your question is 4 something. You didn't even give me that. So there was no guarantee that I would have gone this far. Because at this point, I wasn't a fan yet. There was no guarantee that I would have gotten that far. And one of the best payoffs I've ever gotten as someone who watches anime was watching Brook. Like Brook's backstory. That was like one of the greatest things I ever saw. And I was like, I screamed out loud.
I was well, here's the thing. I really thought, I was like, yo, Alabasta will like give me some good grace. If he gets to Alabasta, like he'll probably really enjoy that and want to keep going. And then I was like, Enies Lobby, come on, like Water 7, Enies Lobby, he's down, he's in for it. But that was like my trump card. If like you were like, yo, I'm out, I'm like, oh man, all right. If you get to here, you'll see what happens with Laboon and his crew.
So that oh, you bastard. You had that in the back of your
I was
hand
waiting. I didn't have to use it, but
that is scary. That is scary. You're like, no, you're gonna keep coming back. I got it.
Okay. I had that full power Charizard. I didn't have to use it,
That sucks. All right, so let me tell you when I became a fan. It was Alabasta, of course. And specifically, it was the Croc and Luffy fights. Like Luffy gets his ass kicked.
I think twice. Yeah, twice.
And it's the first time, at least from what I remember from watching the show, it was the first time he'd ever lost. And this man lost twice. He left him bloody in the desert. The first fight. The second fight was at the palace where I was like, okay, Luffy figured out his weakness. It's over. Croc whooped his tail again. And so I'm like, yo, this is legit. But that last fight, Luffy arms are soaked in his own blood and he beats the crap out of Croc. To this day, it is one of the best fights I've ever seen. And the satisfaction of the end of that fight was glorious. Nothing like it.
Spectacular. And then it really, like, that's where the goofiness of like Luffy's fighting style really, like, yo, this is something. This show is something. Like, I've never seen, like, was it Mr. Fantastic? I've never been like, oh yeah, that guy's cool. Stretching could be cool. when you watch Luffy beat Crocodile Alabaster, you're like, yo, I think I want to be a stretchy man. I think I want to be a rubber man. And whoop
No.
these Negroes' asses.
He punches him like 100 times, so much he breaks through the cave and flies through the air. And as he's falling down, it starts raining in Alabasta.
Yes.
And then everyone who is like killing themselves hears Vivi's voice. It was a work of art, Mark.
Yeah. No,
it was
definitely
a work of art. It was one of the most beautiful scenes I had ever seen in anime history. And
on
I was
top
like,
of that,
go
it's
ahead.
got the I don't know what it's called, but that Mozart track.
Mm.
I don't know what that piece is called, but it's like there's no classical music in One Piece. And then all of a sudden they just turn on this Mozart symphony piece and they just play it while Luffy's pummeling Crocodile, and it all works. And yo, they never do that again in One Piece. I don't think they ever play like just a not random, but all the music in One Piece is internal. That is like an outside piece of music that they brought into this anime for that one specific part. And it
worked.
It was great. It was spectacular.
So that, and you probably know what I'm going to bring up next. So it was that fight plus when the Straw Hats are sailing away and Vivi is like, can I still be your friend? And they can't say nothing because they don't want the Navy to know that they're cool with the Princess of Alabasta, because it's going to be terrible for everybody.
There's going to be a lot of problems.
And they all, as they're sailing away, lift up their arm, showing the tattoo, the X that they needed to have because of Bon Clay and his powers, that they don't really talk about too much. It comes up maybe 3 times in all of Alabasta.
To contest for the audience, they meet someone who can basically change faces and copy people's faces. So they all tattoo an X on their arm. So if they ever like, oh, are you like, they're all like, okay, we're friends. It's a sign of our friendship. We all have this X.
And as they're sailing away, and someone who was pretty much on the crew for like half the show at this point.
Yes.
She was on the boat for like half the existence of One Piece at this point.
I think for 3 arcs, she was like part of the crew.
Yes. like she was on longer than Chopper. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, will you still be my friend? And they all raise their fist in the air, showing the tattoo, and they're sailing away. And you go back to Vivi, and she is just sobbing. And her duck are just sobbing. And I was like, this show is fantastic. This show is fantastic. What's next? Dude. I was like, no, I think I texted you, Mark. I was like, Mark, this was one of the best anime arcs I've ever seen. Are you telling me it gets better? And you're like, it gets better in like 2 arcs.
Not only does it get better, it keeps getting better. Yo, Nels, I wanted to piggyback off that. I just remember something so funny. You would, at that point, that's when I think you started going on forums and things like that.
Yes.
And you were asking me, you're like, hey, yo, how come no one talks about Alabasta? This is like one of the greatest anime arcs I've ever seen in my life, and no one ever talks about it. I was like, yo, Nels, because you haven't got to Water 7 and Enies Lobby yet, bro.
I was like, yo, why is no one talking about Crocodile? He is one of the worst villains I've ever seen. And that fight is one of the best fights I ever seen. I was looking at the rankings of like best villains in One Piece. I was looking at best arcs. I was looking at all this stuff. And they'll be like, yeah, number 8 is Crocodile. Anyways, let's keep going. I'm like, let's keep going. Number 8? He's like in my top 5 of all anime. And you're saying he's number 8? Like I was having a moment. And that was when I was like, oh, I have to keep going. It gets better than one of the best things I've ever seen. I got to keep going.
I was like, man, you'll see. Alabasta has respect, but you'll see why no one brings it up anymore. It's old news, Nels, because of the dopeness you're about to experience in these other arcs. That's hilarious, man. That's fantastic. But that's One Piece. People don't. I'm not going to say One Piece is the first anime I watched, not for the fights, but it's definitely one of the main. The fights aren't the main reason why I watch this show.
Yeah,
and
I don't think it's anybody's
yeah.
main reason to watch One Piece.
No one stays for the fights. The fights are good. Don't get it twisted. They're added like bonus, but it is the character dynamics, the world building, just the emotional roller coaster that these weird looking characters take you on. Nils, basically every arc of One Piece ends with grown men ugly crying, and it's the best. It is the best.
Yeah, this guy, like Oda, he really is like, I'm gonna make you cry. You a grown man reading Asian cartoons. I'm gonna make you cry.
But yo, I'll say this, man, and this is the same reason why I think My Hero's so popular. Why anime I think is so popular in general. And I've had this discussion with you. I think anime does a good job of exuding what positive masculinity is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like when you think about positive masculinity, like All Might, you know,
that was the first thing that came to mind. That was the first thing I was like, yep, All Might.
You know,
he's gonna talk about All Might. Yep.
Vegeta after his transformation, and like I really do think that's why people are drawn to One Piece. It's about being honorable. It's about protecting, not One Piece, but anime in general. It's about, protecting people, being honorable, being a good friend, being supportive, being strong for others, not
having
just yourself.
Values. Sticking to your values.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That's why people love anime. That's my, I don't know if that's theory, but that's my reason why I think anime is so popular. And One Piece is so popular.
No, it's because the Asians do everything better. I'm telling you, these Asians can turn anything into a work of art. Like, yeah, I'm sure part of what you're saying is true, but the other part is they took alchemy, made it the greatest anime of all time.
I just try to do this dynamic about culture and the human experience, and you're like, yeah, man, the Japanese are great at everything.
Great. They took a Food Network concept of a show and made it a fantastic show. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but they do it. They know what they're doing over there.
Oh man.
So Mark, I think something fun for the folks who are still listening could be about like what are some of our favorite parts of One Piece. Like I talked about what made me a fan, but I can jump in, Mark, and just tell you.
Man, yeah, let's go because like I feel like we're gonna be here for a little while. Let me get situated.
Oh, actually, we will be here for a little while, but I'm only gonna say one name. As far as like my favorite parts of One Piece, I'm gonna say one name and one name only, and that name is Whitebeard. Whitebeard, Marineford, Mark Jones. Let me tell you right now, you have held back on who this man was. How dare I say One Piece is trash when they have a character like Whitebeard? Look, All Might. I think we talked about this. It was All Might, Thanos.
Yeah.
There would be no All Might and no Thanos, at least the way the Marvel movies make Thanos. Mm-hmm. There would be none of them if there was not a Whitebeard. I fully believe that Whitebeard inspired All Might and Whitebeard inspired the movie iteration of Thanos. They look the same. They talk the same. They exude the same masculinity. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They got that from Whitebeard. He is one of the best anime characters I've ever seen in my entire life.
He is.
Period. He is also one of the strongest and one of the dopest fighters to watch in anime history. Bruh, everything. And he drops one-liners like Bane. He has better one-liners than Bane, bruh. Maybe not better. Let me calm down. He has as good of one-liners as Bane. He probably has some of the best one-liners besides All Might. You know what I'm saying? Besides His only competition, Mark Jones, is Escanor. His only competition is Escanor. Escanor still beats him. Escanor still beats him, but it's a close two. It's a close two.
Man, that is so funny, dog. You're completely right. It's Escanor. That is
Escanor. That's it. The one-liner man himself. That's his only competition. So, like, my favorite parts, and just to like further paint it in pop cult, Marineford is one of the arcs. It's where Whitebeard, who is currently one of the strongest pirates in the world, is trying to save save Ace. And the entire arc, I don't care what folks tell you Marineford is about, that is an homage to the man named Whitebeard and why he is who he is. Why everyone was either crying from joy or from fear that man was about to fight the Navy. Yeah, it's Whitebeard. Anyways, those are my favorite parts of One Piece.
No, man, you're spot on with Whitebeard, and then this speech. I don't know if it's a narrator or someone else.
It's a narrator.
Yeah, it's the narrator who gives that monologue about Whitebeard, who talks about all the cannon fodder he took and the blows and the sword stabs.
He was like 48 cannon blasts, 300 swords. It's like something like 36 punches. And he didn't have a scar on his back.
Not one scar on his back. I'm like, yo, come on.
LeBron
dude.
could never. LeBron could never. I've never seen a high, like, yo, those stats, that's something serious, bro. That's something serious.
Whitebeard is a testament to like just the power of anime storytelling. And I say that because I feel like this doesn't really happen as much in Western storytelling. It does, but not as much. Anime has this great thing where you will get a character for 5 episodes and they'll become your favorite character of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I completely understand.
I don't know how they do it, and multiple animes do it. You know, it's just I don't know what it is about the structure of the storytelling, but Whitebeard is he's a big part of this world, but we really only get to see him in action for that one arc, and he is like a lot of people's favorite character, and that's it. This is his favorite character.
I wish I could explain it, Mark. Well, so if anything, it might just be like the way that they do creative storytelling. Like, for example, with One Piece, we see like in this entire battlefield, we've seen some of the main players before, and we've seen how big of a deal they were in some of those spaces. And then Whitebeard comes out, and he is the biggest deal. And so everything he does, compared to like some of the big deals that you were seeing before, and realize that none of them compare to this one guy, it's kind of hard not to have all your eyes fixated on him.
Yeah.
And then he delivers.
He delivers in a big way. Yo, I love we watched the episode together, and it like I haven't seen these episodes in so long, and they were like, Whitebeard's on the move, and it just cuts to all these people throughout the world of One Piece, like, oh my god, did you hear Whitebeard's on the move? Whitebeard's on the move. And then Oda's so good at like just hyping people up and foreshadowing. They show a nun on her knees, like on a cliff, praying to God. He's like, please, Lord, don't let Whitebeard come.
Yo, I think we both started laughing with it.
Please, Lord, just keep him at bay. Don't let this one man come and unleash the fury. Like, yo, so funny, so good. But
Mark, real quick, one more thing about Whitebeard. At one point, and I still don't really knew what his powers were at this point. At one point, he grabbed the screen and pulled the screen down, and the entire world moves. I was like, hold on, did this man just grab air itself? Like the world, the universe itself, and then just shift it a little bit? Just a little bit. He didn't do a whole, he just like, and the entire world starts moving.
I think One Piece does this really good. I think My Hero does it really good. It's not necessarily power scaling, but just showing showing the strength of characters and where other characters stand compared to other characters.
Yeah.
Like when Whitebeard shows up, this man is a big deal. He's people are terrified of him. The Navy tells everyone to come back to Marineford. Like, what are you doing? It doesn't matter. Get to Marineford right now because Whitebeard's coming. Now, keep in mind, this man is also like an 80-year-old man, and he's sick.
Yes.
And
he
he's
has
sick.
a breathing apparatus and IVs.
And they're
all day
terrified.
long.
They're still terrified of this man. So it's like, you're like, yo, what was this dude like in his prime? Like, what is going
Can't imagine. But guess what? If I lived in that world, the Navy would exist. I would absolutely. You're telling me that guy? Just a guy? He exists and he can do that? No, we need some type of authority here as soon as possible.
If someone like Whitebeard existed, I would probably be the most like uber super Republican patriot. Like, nope, give all
law and order, Mark.
Law and order to the T.
I would have a law and order T-shirt. My house would be painted in the American flag, brother.
I was gonna say Republicans are big on taxes, but I'm like, no, you need to tax us more and put more money into it.
Yes. Law and order. Oh my goodness.
Law and order. That's how we like it around here.
I would have posters of the admirals all over my house, praying to them at night, man. What? I'm like, y'all are saving me from that.
It would be I'd have a very well if you just would have did what they told you.
Yes. Yes.
If you would have just did what the Marine said.
God, this is your fault. Gosh, you wish you had some common decency over there. Yes, man.
Well, if you weren't playing that rap music when the Marines pulled you up.
Oh, so yeah, so Whitebeard's for me. No, what about you, brother? What are some of your favorite parts?
Oh man, how much time you got?
Yeah, I mean, it's an asinine question, to be honest with you.
Yeah, man. I'll just try to go down a few, and I mean, obviously, the walk to Arlong Park.
Yeah,
like
of course.
Come on, that's like everyone. I feel like I think that's where you get people. If you can get people to the walk to Arlong Park, you have a chance of making them a One Piece fan.
I would say in retrospect, it's probably not like cinematically that dope, but the nostalgia of it all, bruh, it still hits. Like I would probably compare that to Piccolo the first time he does Special Beam Cannon through Raditz and through Goku. And you're just like, yo, he really had to do that to win the fight. And you're like, wow, I guess that's when you realize like, oh, this is a different kind of action anime.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It just it's just everything comes together. Nami's story, the crew. I mean, and bro, Nels, like Nami crying, Luffy help. And then Luffy's like, I got you. And we talked about this last time, and the rest of the Straw Hats are right there, like, yo, let's go do it. Let's like waiting. No questions needed. Let's go handle business. Like classic scene. Another moment that's just like I just really love is when Chopper decides to go with the Straw Hats and I forget her name, but the doctor, his like adopted mom, releases the cherry blossoms.
Oh my god.
And Chopper sees it, and then he has a flashback, and he's like, your dreams, dreams are whatever, Chopper, you live your dreams. And he just is bawling. He like because
we were too.
It's like this like he just yells because he's like has so many, he's like happy, he can't, he's just all he does, he's like
he has uncontrollable emotion. He doesn't even know how to feel, how to react. Yeah, man.
Oh man, that's what One Piece will do to you. Have you crying over this silly reindeer with a blue nose and a top hat.
Yeah. And becomes your favorite character.
Your favorite character. You know, the crocodile fight at Alabaster. That's one of my favorite. Robin at Indy's Lobby. Take me with you. Oh, I want to. Nels, I'm gonna come at me, internet. I'm putting my flag in the sand. That scene, the Robin take me with you. I want to live, and then the Nami, Luffy help. Both of those dub performances are superior to the sub. Come at me, internet. Both of those dub actresses kill those scenes. Bro, I've seen that Robin like I want to live like 20 times.
She pulled that out of somewhere.
Every time pulled
that out of somewhere.
I get misty-eyed. Every time I see that scene, and just look, man. Okay, let's get into it. The whole I'll have to go back to Water 7, but the whole like the whole like throwing up to Indy's Lobby, right? And just everyone's like, look, we're gonna go get Robin. We don't know what the deal is. Yeah, she said she didn't want to come with us, but hey, you know what? She's our crew. She could tell. Luffy's whole thing is like, say it to my face. Don't say it when you're.
I want to hear from nobody else. I want no second, third degree. Answer. I know you told Sanji, but you need to tell me.
You need to tell me once you're safe, back with us. If you want to leave, you can peace out, Robin. But we coming to get you.
Even if you want to die. If you want to die, fine by me. But you coming with me
first. You coming with me first, and then you could go die. Bruh. Like, so just all the Straw Hats coming together. Nels, I feel like we're gonna talk about Water 7 and his lobby all night.
Yeah.
Dog, Soga King, Sniper King. Just his introduction is chef's kiss, dog. Because it's like they're on the train going to Indy's Lobby.
Hold on, Mark. I gotta say this before you do that. Do you remember the night I first found Sniper King? I text you angry. I was like, this existed and you did not tell me? You're like, you didn't tell me that this character existed? That, bruh, like, the way they market was so good. Bruh, it was so good. Especially because, folks grew up, I'm sure Oda grew up loving Power Rangers or Super Sentai, whatever they call it over there. And to see the opening that pays homage to their like Power Rangers from the Sniper King from Sniperland, like, oh my goodness, instantly, Mark, instantly loved it.
Because that happens because Luffy and Usopp fight over the Going Merry, and Usopp quits the crew, and so the whole time everyone's kind of on edge because of Usopp leaving. But Usopp's there to help Robin because he still loves and cares for the crew. Yep. And they're like, okay, we're going to go get Robin. And Usopp, I'm laughing because he's like, hey, that's not my problem anymore. I'm not a part of the crew. See you guys later. And then he turns around and walks away. And they like, it holds for a good 4 seconds. And then all of a sudden, dun, 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 dun. Sniper King shows up, which is Usopp in disguise, and the rest of the crew is like,
that's a mask. It's just Usopp in a mask.
He's got the same clothes on. He's got the exact same clothes on, but he's got a mask and a cape on. And people are like, yo, what are you doing, dog? He's like, I come to help you.
Your friend Usopp told me the whole story.
And they're like, all right, man, whatever.
He's like, I'm Sniper King. Don't you want to know where I'm from? Sanji's like, whatever, let's go.
And I love Usopp and Chopper think that Sniper King and Usopp are two. Luffy and Chopper think Sniper King and Usopp are two different people. They're like, whoa, Sniper King, where are you from?
He's like, Sniper Island.
Sniper Island.
It's in your heart.
It's in your heart.
Chopper and Luffy's like, oh. He's so amazing. Oh my goodness.
I tell you, man, you ever having a bad day, go watch that Sniper King intro song.
On Sniper Island. Yeah, man.
Beautiful. Man. But
very well done.
The lead up to Ennie's Lobby and Robin and the walk to Ennie's Lobby and Luffy telling Sniper King to shoot down the flag. Just grade A, like some of the best of One Piece, maybe like top 3 arcs of One Piece. And then it's not even a huge, well, I mean, obviously the Luffy Lucci fight is, I told you, I think the Luffy versus Lucci fight is top 10 fights in anime of all time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It
think
is.
it's like it's up there.
It is. I mean, there's no how can you debate? I want to debate it. Can you tell? Can you tell that I want to say no? But no, it's top 10. It's top 10.
But just a small moment, and so much comedy in these lobby, dog. The whole Zoro and Sniper King handcuffed together, like just hilarious. But one moment, man, my boy Sanji, when they're fighting that wolf guy, and he's just like wrecking Usopp, and he's about to kill him and Nami, and Sanji comes out of nowhere, and the wolf's like, "Who are you?" And Sanji lights his cigarette, and he's like, "I'm the hunter." I was like, "Yo."
Is that when we first see the fire kick from Sanji?
Yeah, his Diamble Jamble or something.
Yes.
Bruh.
I was like Sanji's pissed. I'm the hunter. Come on,
bro. Man. Yo, all the Brook stuff in Thriller Bark is grade A. Like,
really, Mark? Really?
You're
just gonna bring up Thriller Bark? Oh my goodness. Like, the actual fighting and stuff with Thriller Bark, whatever. But the Brook backstory,
yeah.
I hope he got an award for that. I just hope someone recognized that for what that is. First of all, you call back Laboon, which awesome. Yeah. And then you introduce a song, which I don't even know if that song is good, but please believe that song to me is great.
The Binks Sake?
Yeah, or Binks's Brew, the American version.
Yeah.
Or English version, I should say. And at this point, Mark, every time I hear that song,
you got to sing it. You got to sing it.
And I get emotional. Yo.
You got to sing it like that. Yo.
Start rocking. Why does it go so hard, man?
Nels, I've seen videos of people singing that song at their wedding. Binks's Brew at their wedding. And then the whole room like, yo. I'm like, man, what a time to be alive.
and I sat there and I watched that and I'm like, that's how you get man. That's how you send a man off to his wife. Like, there you go.
Yeah. But yeah, the Brook's whole backstory, man, it's a work of art. Like that when his crew is, I mean, like you said, the whole Laboon stuff's fantastic, but when his crew's sick and they're like, yo, we're the Rumbar Pirates.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we go out singing, so they all just start singing and singing Binks's Brew, and just one by one they're all dying, succumbing to their poison. And then Brook, he's like, we got a quartet. There's like 4 of them, and then like the piano, not the piano, like the guitar player dies, and then a trio, and then the flute player dies, and you hear the instruments like keep like falling off. Oh my!
You hear the bodies fall.
Yes. And then whatever instrument they were playing like stops playing, man. And then so Brook is the only one left. Like,
fantastic. We don't deserve that in this silly anime. In this silly kids anime, we don't deserve quality storytelling like that. And it's like One Piece as a show itself does not deserve that Brook backstory. Like, what? Okay.
But at the end of Thriller Bark, Bartholomew Kuma, attacking the Straw Hats, and Zoro sacrificing himself for Luffy's ambition and taking Luffy's pain. What did he say to him? He's like, I'll let Straw Hat live if you can endure his pain. And he's like, before you say yes, here's a taste of the pain he's having. And Zoro looks like he just got shot by 1,000 machine guns. He just falls to the ground, and he's like, do you still want to do this? And he said yes. And he steps through the Bartholomew, whatever his devil fruit does. He takes away Luffy's pain. The pawpaw fruit, and it manifests into like a bubble. And he tells Zoro he has to step through the bubble. And Zoro steps through the bubble, and it cuts to the next scene. Luffy wakes up. He's like, "Man, I feel fantastic. I feel great." And then Sanji, because he saw all this before Zoro knocked him out, he's like, "Where's Zoro?" And he turns around, and there's blood everywhere. Just
everywhere. The entire, like, you would think that he was in a, like, when I first saw it, I was like, where are all these rocks from? Where are they in a red desert? Like, what is this weird part of Thriller Bark? And then I was like, oh, that's his blood.
This is blood.
Oh my God.
Sanji asked him what happened, and Zoro just says nothing happened here. And but yeah, I'll skip through, because I know we got a lot to talk about. I'll say, you talked about Marineford, Whitebeard saying the One Piece is real.
One Piece.
That One Piece. The Japanese one, One Piece song is real. Like, fantastic. Marineford, when Luffy and all those guys, when they fall out the sky, I really love that moment.
Oh yeah.
I really love that. Because
I'm like, what? How? What is going on?
What?
Like, really? Like, what's going? Is this Skypiea again? What are we doing? Yes.
And it's Small Dog, but they have a small exchange. But anytime Shanks and Buggy can, like, share screen time, like, I love it. Shank's like, "Hey, Buggy, how you doing?" And Shank's like, "F you, screw you, I hate your guts." And Shank's like, "Oh man, classic Buggy."
Good old Buggy. It's crazy that these two are brothers. They're practically brothers, and they are so different.
They're so different.
They're so different. This guy is a comical side villain from, like, the first part of this show. Like, in the story arc of a hero, he's the first villain versus the guy who is at the end. He is at the end of all of this. He is an emperor. The entire Navy, the entire government fear him when he walks in a room, and they're brothers. How?
Yeah.
How? Goodness.
Make it make sense, right? But yeah, and then, I'll wrap it up here, Nels, because I know we got other stuff to get into. But your boy Bon Clay.
Bon Clay, goodness.
Honorary Straw Hat, coming in for the sacrifice for the Straw Hats and Luffy twice, man. Just like, great character, great moments.
Yo, they became friends quick, and that really friendship was like, one of the greatest friendships ever. And they became friends quick. He was on the boat for about 15 minutes.
Yo, and they were like, "We're friends forever, Straw Hat."
Like, the Straw Hats just laughed at his jokes, and it really wasn't all of them. It was Luffy, it was Usopp, and it was Chopper. Yeah, and they just started dancing. He's like, "Yo, this guy's awesome."
He's like, "You're fantastic."
That cemented their friendship forever. Cemented their friendship. One of the greatest friendships I've ever seen on screen ever. Cemented it. 15 minutes of joking on a boat.
Him, and then when they're impaled down and Luffy's going through that process, and he's just yelling, cheering Luffy on. He's like, "Yeah, we can do a Straw Hat friendship." Come on, Straw Boy. Come on, Straw Boy, friendship.
Oh my goodness.
It's so good.
It's a great show.
It's a great show. I know there's a lot more moments, man, but that's just, some of the great ones I could think of.
Mark, I think it would be fun for us to just kind of talk about One Piece in relation to anime in general. I'm going to have a soapbox just to let you know. I'm going to say this, and I want to talk to my anime fans, and I really want to talk to my DBZ fans in particular. I've had a few exchanges with y'all online about One Piece. There's a few things that I want to say. In relation to the greatest animes of all time, you cannot talk about the greatest animes of all time and not talk about One Piece. They need to be in the conversation. I'm not saying they have to be your number one. I completely understand if it's not your number one. This world, there is a world that exists where Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is here. And as long as that piece of property exists, I can understand why you cannot say that One Piece is your GOAT. I cannot. I can't understand.
Yep.
Because Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is my GOAT still to this day. It is the greatest anime ever. It deserves to be on HBO at 8:00 on Sundays. That's how great of the show it is.
It would thrive. It would thrive.
No one would bat an eye. They're like, why is this animated? Oh, that's why this animated show is at 8:00 on Sundays. Yes, it is on the level of Succession, Game of Thrones, like Sopranos. Like, yes, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is on that level.
Without a doubt.
It deserves to be on a Sunday night on HBO. Nothing needs to change. Nothing. It could be on right now at this very moment, and it would fit perfectly. Anyways, I say all that to say, if you're going to talk about some of the greatest animes of all time, One Piece has to be in the conversation. If you do not bring One Piece in the conversation, I cannot take you seriously.
Yeah. What are you doing? You're not having a real conversation.
It's like you haven't watched it. You haven't watched it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you've watched it and it's not one of the greatest animes of all time, then you do not deserve to make that list. Like you are disqualified. Like, how dare you? That's how good of the show this is.
Yeah.
And so the soapbox moment, like what I really want to talk to folks about is like, I know some of you out there, you've only really seen Dragon Ball Z. And that will probably be the only anime you ever watch. And you know what? Dragon Ball Z is a great anime. Dragon Ball Z is probably the greatest action anime of all time. Strictly talking about fights and seeing martial arts in animated form. I mean, there's some folks who do it better, but nobody does it like Dragon Ball Z.
Definitely the most
influential.
Yes, piece of like media ever created.
And I'll do you one further. I love Dragon Ball Z. I love it. All right.
Love it.
One Piece is a better anime than Dragon Ball Z.
Without a doubt.
One Piece is a better anime than Dragon Ball Z. This is not a conversation. It is not a question. And I'm not giving you an opinion. I am giving you a fact. One Piece is a better anime than Dragon Ball Z. Now, further context. Mark and I love Dragon Ball Z. We love it.
Love it.
We have the past 2 Dragon Ball Z movies. We have gone to the theater the opening weekend.
Bought tickets.
And watched it. We loved it both times.
Loved it.
We love Dragon Ball Z. All right. I'm not just saying this because I'm like a diehard One Piece fan. I am not a diehard One Piece fan. It just happened. I am a diehard DBZ fan, and there is no question to me. One Piece is a better anime than Dragon Ball Z. No ifs, ands, or buts. So let me just.
Oh man.
And I'm saying
Dragon Ball Z is like, how come Nils don't want me, man?
I don't know what to tell you.
It just happened.
So Mark, I say all that to say this. Just because something is your favorite thing, it does not make it the best thing. Just because Dragon Ball Z is your favorite anime, it does not mean it is the greatest anime of all time.
I agree 100%. I agree. A lot of people have a hard time being objective when it comes to ranking things.
Black Panther is my favorite all-time Marvel's movie. It is not the best Marvel's movie. I can quickly name 4 Marvel movies that are better. Captain America, Winter Soldier, Endgame, Infinity War, and pick one of the Spider-Man movies. I can quickly tell you several movies that are better than my favorite one, but that doesn't change the fact that is my favorite Marvel movie. I can do it. DBC fans, why can't y'all do it? Why can't y'all admit that your favorite anime that is fantastic? I'm a huge fan of it. It doesn't mean it is the greatest of all time. One Piece is better. Now, that's number 1. And then my last thing, Mark, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on what I'm sharing is you also should not be comparing these 2 shows. Dragon Ball Z is a different category than One Piece. Dragon Ball Z is an action, martial arts, fighting show. One Piece is an adventure show. So that's like you talking about Fast and Furious and somebody else talking about Lord of the Rings. These are two very different genres. I'm not going to bash your love for Fast and Furious. You know what you're signing up for, and you love it. And it is great. I will never let anybody talk trash about Fast and Furious. For some people, that's their GOAT franchise. That's their GOAT franchise. Lord of the Rings and Fast and Furious should not be in the same conversation about anything, and nor would anybody put them in the same conversation. But Lord of the Rings is better than Fast and Furious, all right? It's better. It's just better. It's better in everything, including acting. It's better.
Yeah.
But you won't talk about them. That's what people are doing with One Piece and Dragon Ball Z. Why are we talking about these two things? One Piece is better. It is an adventure show with mystery, with lore, with heartache, with inspiration, with values, with like it can be studied. It should be studied. Yeah. Dragon Ball Z is a great, fun 20-minute show. Like
with characters that we love. With characters
that we love, and we're gonna love forever. It's very different. You know what I'm saying? So that what do you think, Mark? Hey, those are my hot takes.
Woo! Man, the gloves are off. Hey, let me say, brother, I do not disagree with you. These shows can't be compared. But One Piece, if you are going to compare them, One Piece is objectively better. There's kind of nothing like One Piece out. And I don't think there ever will be after One Piece is over. And what I mean by that is One Piece came from an era. It started in an era where, like Naruto and Bleach, where you had these like long shows, these 600, 700 episode shows where fights would last 20, 30, 40 episodes. Yeah. Anime now is very streamlined, right? What fights in My Hero, 5 episodes tops? Like,
yeah, well, depending 5 on episodes, but there's a whole bunch of other stories happening at that time too, like side stories. So you're getting a full like fighting arc that would take, like you were saying, 30 episodes.
Yeah. But One Piece came from the era where you just had like time and episodes to like tell the story, and it's still going on. Like he has not changed his story structure for modern times, and it's kind of amazing that it's still like sticking. So there's not going to be anything ever like it, and I think people kind of know it. Nels, the feeling I get with One Piece right now, this is the same feeling I had when Breaking Bad kind of like started really getting traction. When Breaking Bad started hitting Netflix and people started talking about it and it kind of became a phenomenon, I feel like that's what's happening with One Piece, because I think people want to be along for the ride when we get to the end of this epic arc. So that being said, it has to be in your discussion. If One Piece isn't, like you said, if it's not your GOAT, hey man, that's cool. But if it's not even on your list, if you can't even entertain the idea of it being on like number one, you've either never watched it or you're stupid.
Yep, that's it. What other options are there, Mark?
Big dumb idiot. Because
yes, tell me the other options. I've been trying to think of some other ones. Those are the only two I could think of, Mark.
No, because this is one of Nels. I remember when I told you and a mutual friend, when you guys are like, why do you want us to watch this show so bad, Mark? Why do you want us to watch One Piece? And I was like, I feel like you guys are missing out on some of the best storytelling in modern history. like I feel like you're missing out on some of the best stories that have ever been told in like the modern era. And I'm just serious about that. And you guys laughed at me, but like that's what I think One Piece is. The story structure.
We were wrong. You were right. In case you were wondering.
We've said this before. There's no waste in One Piece. Like there is, if someone's eating a bagel in the first episode, that might mean something in episode 751. You know what I mean? Like,
and it'll break your heart for
it'll
why.
break your heart.
It'll mean something, and it will break your heart at the same time. Yes.
No waste on One Piece. For me, and not to sound repetitive, what you said, with One Piece being the greatest of all time, I'm gonna try to frame this in the way I hope it makes sense in my head. I think Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is the greatest anime of all time. It is the greatest anime of all time. It's an amazing story. I tell people like that is the greatest. I don't know another one that is the greatest. Now, when you incorporate everything else, right? When you incorporate the manga, the anime, like just pound for pound, the characters and everything, then I think that's when One Piece becomes the greatest anime of all time. I think just on the weight of the anime, it's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. But when you incorporate just like everything else, like the fandom, the theories, the manga, the
SBS.
the SBS is like I think One Piece is the greatest of all time.
I will say this. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun. Like you can have like a theory in Full Metal Alchemist in like maybe the 10th episode, but by the 30th episode, everything's answered.
Yeah.
Like you're good and you're just watching the end of like a great story. And you know what? It's great. It's
and you're
awesome.
Content. You're like, all right, great story. Keep it moving.
This is the power of One Piece and the power of Oda. One Piece isn't over yet. And no one has an idea of how it's going to end. But everyone who watches One Piece, I can guarantee you this. Everybody who watches One Piece, they know that the ending is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone who watches One Piece, they're watching it still. I'm telling y'all this. They're watching it still because they know the ending is going to be amazing. They have no doubt in their mind that the ending is going to be fantastic. And you know why? Because Oda has earned that trust. He has earned that trust that like, yo, I know that this ending is going to be great. And this ending is going to be so good. It's going to be hard for people to pick Full Metal Alchemist over it. Like, it's just going to be ridiculous. So
Nels, yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen an anime because you even asked me, you were like, Mark, does it get better? Like, yo, like I think you were at Enies Lobby and you're like, does it get better? I'm like, yo, it gets better. Like you were just like, yo, that Enies Lobby is the magnum opus of another anime. That is like the greatest thing that other creator has ever done. But Oda keeps topping himself. And it's like I don't know if I ever seen another anime do that. And not that they don't get better. Like DBZ, Saiyan was cool. Frieza, Namek, that was a whole thing. And then like the android, it got better. But like One Piece is like, this is the greatest thing you've ever seen. Now this is the greatest thing you've ever seen. And it just keeps piling up.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Especially when you're like our age, from our generation, and we've seen so much. And you're like, oh, but this is one of the greatest of all time. like no, I know for a fact this is one of the greatest of all time because I've seen so much that I know that this is one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. Like, what? That's like, so if you can't imagine, when I saw the crocodile fight, Mark, this is when I was just like, you've told me multiple times that like the stuff I'm watching now just wait till I see later down the road how much better it looks and how much better it is. I was like, cool, whatever. And then I saw that fight. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is one of the best I've ever seen. And he's telling me that all the other ones look better than this. So like, the show's a lot. Anyways, so if we haven't belabored the point, the show's pretty good. I think, Mark, we might have time for like one more thing, which is like, are there any theories or hot takes that you want to just like share about One Piece? For those diehard fans who are still listening.
I don't know if it's like I don't. It's not a full theory. Well, I'm gonna do two quick ones.
Okay.
The one where I like the one where Blackbeard has already eaten the third devil fruit, and it's a Zoan fruit, and it's either like a Cerberus fruit or a Kraken fruit, and that's why he's able to have multiple devil fruits because like three heads of the Cerberus, and apparently Krakens in mythology have three hearts, and his Jolly Roger has three heads. Because why does this man have the ability to hold two devil fruits? I don't know. And then we talked about this, Nels. I don't think Blackbeard is necessarily a bad guy. Or I don't know. Let me take that back. He is a bad person.
He is a bad guy.
He's a bad person. He's a bad guy. I don't think he's necessarily going to turn out to be the villain or that he's an evil person. I think he's doing what Luffy would do, but he's willing to crack a few eggs and sacrifice people to go get it.
Yeah. You've convinced me of that. Now it's like hard for me to not see that in like taking in all things One Piece, because I'm like, yeah, he's Luffy. He's just like it's just a different version of Luffy. He's like all alternate universe Luffy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's like the same thing. It's the same thing, except how he's approaching it.
Yeah.
It's not how Luffy would approach it.
It's not. Yeah. It's not. And then the other thing, I'm gonna throw something at you, but one thing, I think the One Piece is there's got the whole thing about the One Piece and what it is. It has to deal with like the world and the red line, and I just because when you look at the geography of the One Piece world, it's like this can't be a coincidence. Like just like the way things are laid out, Reverse Mountain and Skypiea and just the Grand Line and all that, and then something I thought about. I was looking at Enies Lobby. I'm like, yo, why is this place just a hole in the ocean?
Mm-hmm.
Like what? Yeah. Like why is this just a hole in the ocean? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't. I'm
that
not
goes
saying, like,
down. We don't even know how deep it goes down.
And I'm not saying I necessarily think like Enies Lobby is the One Piece or the One Piece is in there, but I just feel like the One Piece has to deal with like the structure of the world.
I agree. I'll go one more hotter taker, which is I think the One Piece is a button or something. It is a device that gets rid of, because like, why is the Grand Line the way it is, bro? Why are there two calm belts on both sides, like perpendicular to where the Grand Line is? What I think the One Piece is, it drains the calm belts and it lifts up the world so that like it actually becomes a whole piece. And like the water, the seas just become like lakes or something like that. Like it'll just connect the entire world so you don't have to go through the Grand Line or Reverse Mountain. I just think it like drains some of the water down. It's just a button that drains some of the water down and connects the world.
Do you can I say a minor spoiler? I don't know if you're here yet about Fishman Island. It's not even like a huge thing. It's just something that someone says about Luffy in Fishman Island.
I've gotten there.
Okay, the fortune teller?
The fortune teller. I've gotten there. Yeah.
So I saw something the other day and it was like they think that Luffy, I think you even said this, Luffy is going to destroy the Red Line.
Yeah. That was my theory about it like a couple days ago.
And when you look at it, and I'm saying the world, the structure of this world, because he's that fortune teller says Straw Hat will destroy Fishman Island.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Fishman Island is right underneath like the Red Line. So to destroy that, maybe he destroys the Red Line and Fishman Island becomes, because you have to go down the Fishman Island.
Yeah.
So maybe it becomes up, it's just
it
like
rises up.
Yeah, it's just wild, dog. It's nuts. It's nuts. But
and my hotter take is that the key to touch that button is the Straw Hat. Like he has to do something with the Straw Hat in order to like, or the device will only recognize a Straw Hat, and that's how he gets it. That's how
can
he touched the button.
I
Yeah.
tell you three things that I heard? They're not my own theories, but I think they're pretty interesting. One is that Shanks is the villain of the series. Let me
That would
break it
be
down.
bananas.
That would be now. I don't think Shanks is going to turn out to be the villain, but I definitely think we're going to come to a point where Shanks and Luffy don't see something eye to eye. And Shanks is like, "This is how you have to do it, Luffy." And Luffy's like, "No, this is how I'm going to do it," and we're going to have conflict, right? That's what I think is going to happen. And bro, what in a dog Oda? What would happen, Nels? How would you react to a Luffy Blackbeard team up against Shanks? Like, would that, like, how mind blowing would that be?
Pop cult, y'all can't hear me because my mouth is wide open and I'm speechless. I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
Oda
I would
could
love to
do
see
it.
it.
Oda could do it, and it would be great.
I would love to see it.
One cool theory I heard. Someone mentioned that. So you know the whole thing with the devil fruits and how apparently you can feed inanimate objects devil fruits.
Yes,
but they have to be Zoan fruits, right?
I didn't know that. I didn't even think
Yes,
about that.
they have to be a Zoan fruit. So someone said, "Well, what could a Zoan fruit eat another devil fruit?"
Yo, is Blackbeard a devil fruit?
Bro, I don't know, but like, think about it. Could a Zoan devil fruit eat another devil fruit and then be like a Zoan devil fruit thing?
I saw a sword eat an elephant. Like, yes, the answer has to be yes. Why else show me something weird like that? So yes,
Nuts,
that
man.
is
This
that
is
is a
One
mind
Piece,
mess
y'all.
right there.
This
That is
is
a
One
mind
Piece.
mess.
The
Well,
world of
Mark,
One Piece.
anything else, sir?
No, man. This journey has been fun. I'm really glad that you decided to dwell into One Piece, Nels. It you can't lie, man. It's been a lot of fun, right?
Oh, it's been a lot of fun. It is a wild and funky ride. It's a lot of fun. So to wrap us up, I'll say this. Like, Mark, I still am upset with how you sold One Piece. Like, I think if I was you, I would have said, look, this is not an action anime. This is an adventure anime. It may have action in it that you'll love and enjoy, but this is an adventure anime, and it's full of tons of mysteries. And you will enjoy every single one of them. That's what I would have said. And that's like the best way I think I could sell One Piece to somebody. It's like, and the other thing, I think we talked about this. My other thing is the first half of One Piece, from the first episode to Marineford, that's One Piece.
Yeah.
You then start the counter all over again. Start at episode number 1 when they return to. I was trying to avoid the name of that island.
Yo, I don't know why this one gives you so much trouble. The Sabaody.
Sabaody. I was masterfully.
You like Sabadoodoo, Sagaba.
That arc in that island has me in a chokehold. I cannot get that name out,
bro. I don't know what it is. You get all these other difficult names and places. You like, but like Sabaody had you, dog. It had
you. Still, man, still. But like when they return to Sabaody, that should just be called One Piece New World. It's the same way that Dragon Ball is Dragon Ball Z. It's the same name. It's the same way as like what Naruto and Boruto. I don't know. It's the same as like any show. Is just like, nah, like you are a long form running anime.
Chop it
up. Have a new name, ship it in, Brotherhood, whatever, and just keep it moving.
So on that real quick, I will say one. I don't know why no one sells One Piece like you said how to sell it. I don't know why. Like I think One Piece is such a, you have to experience it. And like we know once you experience it, you're in kind of thing. And so I don't know, people don't know how to like translate that. But I will say to anyone thinking about getting into One Piece after hearing this, and you're overwhelmed by the 1,000 episodes, when you really break it down, it's an easier show to watch. If you skip the intro and like the recap, it's like a 17-minute show.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
17,
yeah.
maybe 20 minutes here or there. It's a breeze of a show. You can really work through One Piece fairly quickly if you skip the intros and all that stuff. So it's not as hard as people think it is. And it's actually really easy to binge One Piece.
Yeah. And also, yeah, it's however many episodes, but like if we talked about it in seasons, it's kind of like 15 seasons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe like 12, 15 seasons. If I said Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones is like a total of like 70 episodes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hey, you need to watch Game of Thrones, 70 episodes. But it's great. It's worth it. But it's 70 episodes. Versus saying it's like 6 seasons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's very different. Like, I think the way that we as Americans interpret shows is by seasons and be like, okay, season, that's a long time, but we don't say how many episodes it is. Yeah. For One Piece, it is out there, like in the open, like straight up, like
1,000 episodes.
1,012. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just like it's front and center, and that's intimidating.
Yeah, it is.
I think we as Americans don't really like take it in like that.
All right, man. Well, it's been fun. It's been great. This is a great episode to come back on. You know, father of 3, and now I have my best friend watches One Piece. Man, they don't get no better than this.
Thank you, Mark. The shame. And thank you, Pop Cult. Thank you for listening. We have a new episode every month. You can find us on all social media at Pop Cult Parent, POPCULTPARENT. Visit us at www.popcultparent.com. Email us at popcultparent@gmail.com. Don't forget to rate us, review, and subscribe. And as always, run the cult. Peace.
Yo! Super!